I have an idea. Hi, my name's Tiff, and I would like to present this idea the best way that I can, but I will forewarn you that I do have ADHD and I am on a medication that sort of inhibits me from getting the words that I want to come out. Now that you're aware of that. So, anyway, this idea that I have is for church. I love church. I'm not a religious person. I am not a Christian. I tried to be a Christian for many years. I've read the Bible a lot. I've tried to study the Bible, but Christianity is not for me. And the reason Christianity became not for me was because of the struggles that I've had with ADHD and bipolar and not being able to get help through the church, like at all with these things. And so that led me to go on another spiritual quest to understand how I can honor this spiritual part of myself. And that led me to a greater understanding that there are multiple parts to ourselves and our health that we need to honor and to integrate all of those things into our lives. And that is not just physical health, not just emotional health, mental health, but also spiritual health. Those are four really important aspects to a human being. And when you honor those things and you take care of those things in ways that you need to, then you will be a whole person and you won't feel such discontent and such dysregulation. So back to this idea, I propose that we as a society look at these things, these structured organizations that already exist, and try to use them in other ways so that we can benefit from them. I love the idea of church. I think, well, when I talk about church, I'm talking about Christian church. I think Christian church is a brilliant invention. There are many aspects to a church, and I'm going to use a specific church in my mind. One aspect about church that I'm going to start with is the tithing. Tithing is first, no, let's not talk about the tithing. Let's talk about how we can take the model of church, which is a community. It's a community that is bought and paid for by the tithing of the community members. So when you go to church on Sunday, you go and you listen to a pastor speak about his interpretation of the spirituality that he subscribes to and that all of the other congregations subscribes to. They speak, they enlighten the congregation, they touch on points that each of those humans are experiencing in their life. And then there's music, there's worship, so there's like getting up and feeling the rhythm of the music that is helping their body. They feel connection to it, and then they finish and then they connect with all the other people, and they maybe go out and they enjoy a dinner or something. And it doesn't end there. That church is open sometimes all week long, and there's a pastor sitting in an office preparing for his seminar. What is the word? Preparing for his whatever that thing is, sermon. He's preparing for his sermon. And also, he's available there to be a counselor to the people in his congregation, and not even just people in his congregation, people off the street that are hurting or suffering and need something. They feel a hole in their life, and so they feel like they're going to go to this Christian church, and then he's going to talk about spirituality, and it's going to fucking hit something because it's real, because that is food for that person. That is spiritual food for that person. And so they feel good, and then they want to be a part of this church because it fills something within their soul that they're getting. There's also some churches have a gym in them, and some churches host workshops like Alpha, the Alpha program. They have Alpha marriage programs. They have all these things that are available. They also have Sunday school for children. It gives them an opportunity to learn about God and to instill spiritual habits in them at a young age, so that they can take that and bring it into their adulthood, and then they have a more of a firm foundation of their spirituality under their feet. They also have programs, mentorship programs for kids. They also have camps and missionary programs. They have so much going on in a church. And what I want to do is take that and bring it over to secular society. And a lot of the people who are not Christians, who do not feel a connection to that form of spirituality, or who are not of any other kind of religion, Muslim, Judaism, all those Abrahamic religions that just have a lot of dogmas. They you know, they have this way of seeing God. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. I love people that are like that. It's just, for a lot of us, we don't believe in it. We can't. Like we try. Some of us try with all our might, and it just doesn't work. So how we can take that form of church and use it to help the rest of the world, or the rest of North American society, maybe European society, I don't know, maybe African society, I don't know, maybe Asia, who knows how far this would go. But what I'm proposing is that we take that structured organizational thing that is Christian church and bring it over here, and we can use that model and transfer it over here, and we can implement healing practices, because most of the world is afflicted with something that is throwing them off balance, especially right now, in this dopamine driven world, this technological driven world, this world that's experiencing incredible inflation right now. Like, there are a lot of people suffering right now, and they can really use a church, a community. And not everybody subscribes to these religions. Not everybody can buy into it. It's not helping them. What I've found has helped me, as someone who has ADHD and bipolar and trauma and all whatever else, you know, I have a dopamine addiction to having ADHD. You're a lot more susceptible to having that, and anxiety that comes with it. What has helped me the most? Several things have helped me. Yoga has helped me immensely. Taoist thinking, Buddhist thinking, like I've read books by psychiatrists or psychotherapists that have studied and practiced with these Eastern philosophies, and I've learned from them. But reading books and watching YouTube videos of yoga, it only goes so far. It only goes so far. Or going, like, I am a yoga teacher. I've trained to be a yoga teacher. However, because of the medication that I'm on, it makes it very difficult to feel motivated to do yoga every day. And my brain is so scattered that half the time I can't even get on my mat. If I had somewhere to go every day to do yoga, to listen to these philosophies and do mindfulness practices, if I had somewhere to go every day where I didn't have to dish out a ton of money, I would be a lot better than I am now. If my kids had somewhere to go every day where they can do these mindfulness practices, where they can do things where they're outside, touching the earth, being grounded, and you know, learning how to connect with nature, doing arts and crafts that are not, you know, just creating more garbage, like just using the earth to like create things and then letting them wash away without causing any damage to the earth. You know, like they didn't have to sit in front of a screen all the time. My kid, I just had a conversation with my youngest about how being dopamine addicted is causing damage to her health. And I asked her, I'm like, do you want to be calm, Mom? She really wants to be a mother when she grows up. And I asked her, do you want to be a calm mommy, or do you want to be a dysregulated mommy like I was in the beginning of your childhood? I lost my mind a lot. I lost my cool a lot. I was very dysregulated, and I still kind of am, but I work hard on being mindful and being spiritual and loving myself through these things and honoring the divinity within me by, if I'm suffering, put my hands on my heart and say, may I honor this suffering, may I be free of this suffering, and repeating that over and over again and breathing through it, and just doing all kinds of things like that, the tools that I've learned and picked up over time. But I'm still not as well as I'd like to be. And I just see this vision and I don't know how to execute it because I don't have the executive functions to be able to execute. So yeah, like this church, imagine, so this church, Emmanuel and Barry, that I have, I watched it from when it was a baby, and it was at one building, and it was small. And I remember there was a few people that were kind of annoyed that they were asking for more money, because some of the congregation thought that they were really money driven. But now this facility that they're in now is beautiful. Like, it's gorgeous. It has a big gym. It has a school in there for Sunday school. It has a huge what is that word called? Auditorium. It is a huge auditorium with a stage, a big stage, lots of seating, and it has all kinds of rooms and offices, and I think it had like a cafe in it or something like that, but it was beautiful. I thought it was great. Like, growth and expansion is what we're here to do. So like, we could start small and just offer yoga and Tai Chi. Like, these practices, I'm going to make a really bold statement here, but they are essential to our well-being. They're energetic practices. And when I talk about yoga, I'm also talking about breath work. I'm talking about breath work, and I'm also talking about meditation. Okay, so it's like all of that. And Tai Chi and Qigong is just moving energy and people who do this on a regular basis and work through their trauma and are practicing these philosophies on a day-to-day basis, they are some of the healthiest people people that eat properly. I'm not talking about like super strict diet. Like, I'm talking about a regular diet where you're not abusing your body. These are some of the healthiest people on the planet. I promise you. Like, I promise you. And there's a reason for this, because these practices are very intelligent. And they honor your endocrine system. Your endocrine system is the part that's producing all of these hormones. And like, I don't know where the neurotransmitters are coming, but they are affected by the hormones that are secreted from these glands. And these practices that we do are moving energy through our body and getting rid of blocks that are causing us all of these problems in our lives. So, like, there are yoga studios all over North America and the Western Hemisphere of the world. There are yoga studios in the East as well. I don't know what that looks like. I know that in India, they have huge, like, arenas of people doing yoga in these arenas. You have one guy at the front teaching this huge arena full of people yoga. Imagine how accessible that would be. So you have a small studio of yoga and you're trying to attract all these clients, and maybe you're successful, maybe you're not, maybe you're still growing. You are charging anywhere between $20 and $30 for an hour for each individual to go to these yoga classes. Most people can only afford that once or twice a week. Yoga, and this goes the same, I've never really gone to a Tai Chi class or a Qigong class. My yogis have incorporated Qigong into their yoga class, and I really appreciate that. I love that I've been able to do that. I resonate more with yoga, but some people resonate more with Qigong and Tai Chi. I might take that up real soon because the medication that I'm on is making it very difficult to want to move my body. However, I just did yoga for the first time in a while, and I was so dysregulated before I did it, and I cried throughout my practice, and then eventually when I got to my yoga nidra, I was balanced again. So I love yoga. Anyway, so you have the gym in this church and you teach yoga, and then outside you have a big field, and then in the summertime, in the warmer months, you teach Qigong and or Tai Chi. And then in the winter months, you can schedule some Qigong or Tai Chi with the yoga on different hours, morning sessions and evening sessions for people who are working different shifts or whatever their lifestyle is. You also have the auditorium where you can have speakers, or you can have leaders of this church prepare sermons, and don't just teach one sermon on a Sunday, but every night, every day of the week, offer these sermons that take all of this. They call it New Age. New Age is a very broad category, and not everything in the New Age is beneficial for everybody. Just like religion, organized Abrahamic religion, not for everybody. Same as yoga and Qigong, not for everybody. But it is for a lot of people. And some people, unfortunately, are against it because of the fear that they have, the religious programming they have. Unfortunately, they think that yoga is demonic or it is unclean or whatever. I highly disagree with that, and I find it very unfortunate those people are missing out. But maybe they're getting what they need from whatever it is that they're looking for. Like, I listen to people like Joe Dispenza, and I get jealous of the people that go, and Bruce Lipton and Greg Braden. Like, I read their books and I try to listen to their meditations and their practices that that Joe Dispenza shares with us. And I'm so grateful that he does share free content, but I have ADHD, so I find it very difficult to stay consistent and do these practices on a regular basis. We could have disciples of people like Joe Dispenza lead us in these auditoriums. We could all sit there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we can do these meditations that will literally change us and blow up our divinity, our inner divinity that, just so you know, Jesus told you that you have, that you are. Are ye not gods? Are ye not gods? So what this church does is it provides a community, a sangha, which a sangha is, from my understanding, it's very, very little understanding. I'm going to a Buddhist retreat this weekend, so hopefully I will have more of an understanding of that when I come back. But a sangha is like a community of like monks and nuns and people who have devoted their life to the spiritual path, and now they are able to teach, and now they are able to counsel. So we can have those people be the leaders of the church. Also people who have studied works like Joe Dispenza and who have done all the practices and who have gotten to a place where they are more centered and more active in their divinity. They're able to do more things with their spirituality, and they have more peace because of it. They have more union within themselves. They're more integrated. And then they can share that with their congregation. Sunday school for children, where they can go and practice mindfulness. Like, there's so many things, like people who work with children, they're so good. I used to be really nurturing with children, and I could do sensory activities with them, but I can't teach them things unless it's organic and it's just coming out when we're walking through the forest and I spontaneously show them the circle of life, whatever. But like, I don't know how to teach my child. I've bought resources for my children to teach them mindfulness and yoga, and I'm sucking at it really bad. And what was I saying? Yeah, Sunday school for the kids. Like, you could teach them indigenous, you can have indigenous members come in there and tell stories. You could have people who've like translated stories from the Bhagavad Gita, stories from the Tao Te, or like beautiful poems and passages from the Tao Te Ching, like learn things, just stories and things about Buddhism, like instill these things in the children when they're young, and then give them these mindfulness practices, do yoga with them or Tai Chi. Maybe they can figure out what they like, and then they can commit to that. And by the time they're adults, they will have better marriages. They will be better able to raise children from a regulated, calm, centered place. And then watch how the world changes. Watch how the world changes if we had more of these institutions for regular people that are opening up their eyes and opening up their minds to these ways of living. Have cooking classes. You could have a kitchen in this church to teach people how to cook healthy, delicious meals. I have a hard time learning from YouTube videos and things like that. I used to work in kitchens when I was younger, and hands-on learning is like the best learning for me. I remember how to do all kinds of things from my early 20s from working in kitchens, and I've been able to make delicious, healthy meals. You know, now we could offer that at this church, right? So I think I've addressed a lot of the things that you could transfer from regular church to this new church. And I'm probably going to make more videos to talk about it in the future, more ideas to come out. We're at the place now where, how do we fund this? How does this happen? How do we pay the people who are running this church? How do we afford to pay for the building and the bills and the taxes and everything that comes with it? How do regular Christian churches pay for this? They have what's called tithing. Tithing is where you take, I think, 10% of your income and you give it to the church on a weekly basis. That funds the church. And it's on a sliding scale. No one is mandated to pay one payment, the same payment. You have the people who are more economically taken care of. They pay 10% of that income, and that's a big chunk that goes toward the church. Then you get the single income family with the stay-at-home mom, or the two working families who are working these low jobs, or you get the homeless people in who have like nothing, or you get the people on ODSP or on there are other people from other countries watching this, so ODSP is disability payments. You know, all of these people, if you can provide this healing for them, then they will be more likely to go and work, because they'll feel more able to do so. They'll feel more calm in their body. They'll feel more joyful. It won't be so excruciatingly hard to go to these jobs every day. Buddhism teaches you about radical acceptance. It teaches all kinds of things that help you accept where you are in life. And then by accepting these things and by setting intentions for something greater, then you can work towards something greater. You can have belief in yourself. You can have faith in yourself and your own divinity and your connection to God. And then you'll be able to create a better reality for yourself. There's so many things I didn't mention, like pastors and leaders of Christian churches have to go to seminary school where they learn to be counselors. The leaders of these churches, these new churches that I'm proposing exist, they're the people who learn to be counselors. They've done this work, and some of them, I really propose that they learn Jungian philosophies, because Carl Jung was revolutionary in the way he worked with psychology, because he didn't take out the spirituality. He incorporated spirituality, that really important fourth quadrant in the medicine wheel, the indigenous medicine wheel. That's where that came from. So you have that, and there are also 12-step programs A lot of churches have AA meetings and things like that, and that's great. There are so many different addictions out there in the world, and these addictions are ruining people's lives. The 12-step program is brilliant. You can have a 12-step program for sugar addiction and carb addiction. Like right now, I have bipolar and I'm on a medication that I fucking hate. I love that I can sleep every night because I was an insomniac for like 5 years. I'm grateful for that. I get sound sleeping every night. It's great. I no longer rage at the people in my life. I no longer start arguments or switch my moods all the time because of this medication. I'm very grateful for that. However, there is a slew of other side effects that are fucking up my life. I hate it, and I wish I wasn't on it. There are lots of studies where keto, the ketogenic diet, can actually help heal people with bipolar and schizophrenia. Like, they don't need medication, they just need to do this diet. I tried that diet and failed miserably. It was too restrictive, and then when I quit doing the diet, my addiction to carbs grew exponentially, and I am now eating sugar 3 times a day, and I hate it. It's an addiction, and I don't know how to stop it. I would really benefit from some 12-step program that takes ADHD into consideration, and if they had cooking classes at this place, then that would be amazing. And also, as a stay-at-home mom, I would also benefit from somewhere to bring my children, or my younger child, where she could be stimulated in a way that's healthy for her, instead of shoving her in front of the TV or on my phone, because that is her go-to every time she is bored and I don't know what to do with her. I'm dealing with my own stuff. So that will help me not feel like a failure as a mother. If anybody has heard this message, the whole duration of this message, and you think it's a great idea, if there's anything you want to add to how this can help, or what kind of ideas we can drum up for something like this, I really invite them. Let's get a conversation going, and let's start putting some energy into this, and maybe this will get shared around. Maybe the movers and the shakers of the world, and I don't mean the movers and shakers that is my husband's 5-star moving business in a place called Barrie, Ontario, and in North Bay in Sudbury, Ontario. That's another mover and a shaker. I'm talking about the movers and the shakers that love humanity. I'm talking about the movers and shakers that want to do something to really heal humanity on a grand scale. Maybe this will get passed around to them, and it'll spark an idea in them, and instead of opening up another yoga studio or another spiritual studio where everybody has to pay these prices that do not allow them to commit to these things on a daily basis or get the support that they need, because it's too expensive. Like, people that want to make healing accessible to everybody, even the marginalized people who don't really have access to these things. Anyway, I'm going to end it here, and I thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for listening to this. I know it was 34 minutes long. I can't help it. It's a big idea. This idea has been on my brain all day. I cried earlier, and I was just like, why don't I have this? Why does this not exist? My life and so many others would be so much better if we had a community that offered these things to us, so that the struggle wasn't real, so that the struggle disappeared or minimized, because life is about struggle. It is about pain and pleasure, and it is duality, and we are here to make peace with that, and that's what this church can help with. So anyway, thank you so much, and I can't wait to hear some of your comments and suggestions, and anything else you have to offer, because you're important. Thank you.